I am Stevie.
If you could bring someone back, would you even ask how, or what do you have to sacrifice to do so? Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be diving into Bring Her Back. This film is from the same production company, writers and directors of Talk to Me, a previous hit for A24. As always, bear in mind there will be spoilers ahead, so if you haven't watched the film yet, I recommend you do so and then rejoin me here for all your questions to be answered. That's enough rambling, let's get into it. Bring Her Back follows a grieving mother who is offered the impossible, a way to see her dead daughter again. But the method is ancient, secret and irreversible. As she descends deeper into the ritual, the boundary between life and death begins to dissolve, and something else starts creeping in through the cracks. What begins as a slow meditation on grief and longing unravels into a nightmare about the dangers of holding on too tightly to the past, and the horrors that follow when we try to rewrite the natural order.
Listen, Piper needs to go the same way Kathy did.
Let me go,
I
love.
didn't think it would work, but it's working.
Okay.
It's working.
Let me go.
He's gonna bring her back.
Let me go.
Bring Her Back isn't just about demons and dark rituals. It's about what grief can do when it's left to rot. How love, twisted by obsession, can become something monstrous. Laura isn't a villain in the traditional horror sense. She's a grieving mother trying to rewrite reality through a ritual and belief. But instead of processing her loss, she traps it, quite literally, in her home. Kathy's body is frozen, preserved like a shrine, and Laura turns to ancient occult instructions from a sketchy VHS tape in the hopes of bringing her back.
We can bring her back.
When grief isn't accepted, it becomes a process of control, a ritual, a system we build to avoid the truth. The film leans hard into mirroring and repetition. Laura dresses Piper in Kathy's clothes. She tries to recreate Kathy's death exactly. Same age, same blindness, same drowning. It's not just resurrection, it's replacement. She wants the moment before Kathy died to happen again, but this time with a different ending. This idea of forced repetition is one of the most disturbing threads in the movie. The horror of someone trying to make you into someone you're not.
Piper!
Oliver, or rather the possessed child, becomes the vessel of repressed trauma. He literally devours Kathy's corpse, mutters warnings and mimics others' voices. But he also mirrors Laura's own descent. The more she feeds her grief, the more destructive it becomes, to others and to herself. Tari, the demon, isn't just a monster. It's a symbol of how grief, guilt and delusion feed off each other, until they consume everything. On the surface, this is a movie about supernatural resurrection, but emotionally, it's about how love without boundaries, the kind that refuses to accept death, becomes toxic. Laura isn't evil because she hates. She's terrifying because she loves too much. And that love ignores consent, identity, and even life itself. The final moment where Piper says "Mum" to save herself is devastating because it shows how powerful that need for motherhood still is in Laura, even as everything around her is collapsing. So in the end, Bring Her Back isn't just about losing someone, it's about what happens when you refuse to lose them and force the world to bend around your pain. The ending of Bring Her Back isn't just shocking, it's layered. Grief, guilt, desperation, all crashing into something unnatural. By the final act, the truth is clear. Laura hasn't accepted her daughter Kathy's death. She's keeping Kathy's corpse in a freezer and trying to bring her back using a demonic ritual that she barely understands. That's where Oliver comes in, or rather Tari, the demon possessing him. The ritual is twisted. You feed the body of your loved one to the possessed host. That host, in this case Oliver, eventually regurgitates the soul and body into a newly dead vessel. But here's the catch. That death has to match the original cause. So to bring Kathy back, Laura plans to drown Piper, just like Kathy drowned. And Oliver, consumed by Tari, becomes the vessel, meant to transfer Kathy's soul into Piper's body. The horror here isn't just in violence, it's how methodical and tender Laura is about it. She doesn't see it as evil, she sees it as motherhood, as love. But as Tari grows more unstable, more hungry, Laura becomes frantic. She manipulates Piper, frames Andy, and eventually kills him. Not because she's cruel, but because he stands in the way of Kathy's return. By the time Laura drags Piper to the pool, she's fully unravelled. She's not grieving anymore, she's building a vessel. And then, in the film's most heartbreaking moment, Piper screams, "Mum." And that's what snaps Laura out of it. It's a chilling reversal. The one word Laura longed to hear from Kathy is what saves Piper's life. In the aftermath, Oliver collapses as Tari leaves his body. Police surround the house, and Laura, finally consumed by guilt, carries Kathy's half-eaten corpse into the pool and cradles her like she's all that's left. No big scare, no final scream, just the brutal truth. Laura was so desperate to bring her daughter back, she nearly destroyed someone else's. Visually, Bring Her Back doesn't shout, it suffocates. The cinematography leans into stillness, muted colours, and lingering frames. It feels more like grief than fear. Nothing flashy, nothing jumpy, just control, just like Laura. The camera rarely gives us clarity. Scenes are dim, narrow, and disorientated, mirroring Piper's vision and Laura's emotional tunnel vision. The house becomes its own character, cluttered, tight, circled with ritual. It's not a home, it's a mausoleum, and we're trapped inside it with her. The film echoes folk horror, rituals, rural isolation, supernatural debt. Think Wicker Man, think Midsummer. But emotionally, it's closer to The Babadook or Hereditary. Horror is a physical form of grief. Even the VHS tape, scratched, foreign, occult, feels like a nod to The Ring or early 2000s lo-fi horror. Not just spooky, dangerous knowledge in the wrong hands. The sound design is sparse but sharp. Wet chewing, whispers, creaks. Tari's low growl, timed like a heartbeat. Bring Her Back doesn't just show horror, it feels like it. Like being trapped in someone else's grief and only realising it when it's too late. There is one element for me that didn't quite work or was a little bit too far reaching. And that goes with as powerful as Bring Her Back is emotionally, it's the resurrection ritual. That part kind of loses me. It's way overcomplicated. Take the corpse, feed it to a possessed host, wait for them to regurgitate both body and soul into a new body that has to die exactly the same way. It's the kind of logic that belongs in a cursed alchemy manual, not something a grieving mother learns from a beat-up Russian VHS. Instead of feeling mysterious or mythic, it feels like plot maths. And that pulls you out of what was an otherwise grounded, emotional story. It doesn't ruin the film by any stretch, but it does make the stakes feel a little manufactured. The metaphor works, grief is a ritual you can't let go of, but the actual steps, they're a little too literal and a little too much. Bring Her Back isn't about ghosts and demons, not really. It's about what happens when someone refuses to let go, when love turns possessive, when grief becomes ritual, when memory warps into obsession. The resurrection rules might be a bit of a stretch, But what stays with me long after the credits is Laura, a woman so broken by loss she starts rebuilding her life out of the people around her. And that's true horror. Not what comes back, but what you become trying to bring them back. If you've seen Bring Her Back, I want to hear from you. What haunted you the most, the ritual, the demon, or just Laura quietly cradling what was left of her daughter? If you enjoyed this breakdown, please subscribe and leave a comment as to your thoughts on this.
We did it, people.